A Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her.
Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
What would you do if you found out the leader of your town was being accused of stealing millions, throwing lavish parties, and plastering their face on banners all over the streets? That's exactly what's happening in Dolton, Illinois, where Mayor Tiffany Henyard, also known as the self-proclaimed super mayor, is facing a storm of controversies. From allegations of embezzlement to accusations of mismanagement, Henyard's tenure has become a whirlwind of drama, scandal, and public outrage. And trust us, this story only gets crazier the deeper you dive into it.
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments.
Let's start with the jaw-dropping claim that sent shockwaves through Dolton. Henyard is accused of orchestrating the theft of over $2 million in public funds. Trustee Chris Gonzalez, one of Henyard's most outspoken critics, has gone public with explosive allegations that funds meant for community development and essential services have mysteriously disappeared. According to Gonzalez, large sums were funneled into questionable projects, private accounts, and shady contracts tied to Henyard's allies. And here's the kicker: some of these projects don't even exist, and others are reportedly outrageously overpriced. If true, it's not just a betrayal of public trust, it's a massive financial crime. But that's not all. The drama surrounding Henyard doesn't stop at missing money. She's also being slammed for splurging taxpayer funds on extravagant personal expenses. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who's now investigating Henyard's financial dealings, revealed that the mayor allegedly spent tens of thousands on luxury items, first-class travel, and even private parties. One receipt reportedly shows over $30,000 spent in a single day on online shopping. Lightfoot didn't hold back, calling Henyard's behavior a blatant misuse of public funds and a slap in the face to Dolton residents, struggling with underfunded schools and crumbling infrastructure.
Because all this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me, I'm over it. Now it's time for me.
Adding to the chaos, even Henyard's former allies are now distancing themselves from her. Carmen Carlisle, who once worked as Henyard's assistant, has publicly broken ties and described her former boss as reckless and untrustworthy. Carlisle revealed that she became disillusioned after witnessing firsthand how decisions were made behind closed doors, often without consulting trustees or following proper procedures. Carlisle has since joined the growing list of critics calling for Henyard's resignation, saying, "This isn't leadership, it's a circus, and the people of Dolton deserve better." And let's not forget the banners. Oh, those infamous banners. Picture this: oversized signs lining Dolton streets, each one featuring Henyard's face alongside the word super mayor. If that doesn't scream self-promotion, what does? But here's where it gets even more outrageous. The company that created these banners claims they haven't been paid a dime. That's right, nearly $20,000 worth of banners, and the vendor is still waiting for their check. When workers, acting on orders from opposing trustees, began taking the banners down, Henyard reportedly called the police and demanded charges be filed. In police body cam footage, she's heard saying, "Press charges on them. They're taking government property down." But let's be real, was this really about protecting government property, or was it about protecting her ego?
Now, an NBC5 News exclusive, there is more controversy for the mayor of Dolton tonight. Apparently, when she caught workers removing banners with her picture on them, she called police.
It's hard to imagine how things could get messier, but Henyard seems to outdo herself at every turn. Take her recent appointment of Ronald Burge Sr. as Dolton's police chief. Trustees and state officials have raised serious concerns about this decision, claiming that Burge doesn't meet the legal qualifications to serve. In fact, the Illinois agency overseeing law enforcement has stated that Burge's certification is inactive due to missing paperwork and outdated training. Yet Henyard pushed forward with the appointment, sparking more legal battles and further dividing the village leadership. Trustees have even vowed not to pay Burge because they argue the appointment was illegal. So now, Dolton is not only dealing with financial chaos, but also a leadership crisis within its police department.
It's a power grab. That's it. Power and money grab.
And speaking of legal battles, Henyard is also fighting to stay in her home. Yes, you heard that right. The mayor of Dolton is facing eviction. Her landlord, who once considered Henyard a friend, claims she hasn't paid rent since August. The landlord also alleges that Henyard and her boyfriend changed the locks and garage code to keep her out of the property, all while owing thousands in overdue rent. Court documents show that eviction papers have been filed, but Henyard has reportedly avoided being served. For someone who earns a six-figure salary from taxpayers, this situation raises a lot of eyebrows.
We talked to Tiffany Henyard's landlord, and she says she came to this Thornton Township meeting Tuesday night hoping to get paid what she says she's owed.
But let's take a step back and look at how all of this is affecting Dolton as a whole. The village is sinking under a deficit of nearly $3.5 million, with essential services and community projects hanging by a thread. Residents are fed up and protests have erupted, demanding Henyard's resignation. Community leaders have described her actions as a betrayal, pointing out how her alleged misuse of funds has left the town's schools, infrastructure, and public safety in dire straits. One local activist summed it up perfectly, saying, "We work hard, pay our taxes, and trust our leaders to use those funds responsibly. Henyard has not just stolen money, she's stolen our faith in local government."
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent payments for months.
And if you think the drama ends there, think again. Henyard is doubling down and running for re-election. That's right, despite the ongoing federal investigation, despite the lawsuits, and despite the mounting public outrage, she's asking Dolton residents for another term. In a social media post, she declared, "I am running for re-election for mayor of Dolton. The people know the truth, and I am committed to fighting for my village." Critics, however, aren't buying it. Trustee Jason House, who's running against her, has called her campaign ridiculous, arguing that Dolton needs fresh leadership to dig itself out of the mess Henyard has created.
Henyard says she is endorsing a new board, but not announcing who they are just yet, instead promising to name them later this month. Henyard is under investigation by the FBI.
But here's where things get even more surreal. During a recent village board meeting, Henyard addressed her critics in a way that left many people shaking their heads. "A lot of you come to this mic talking about nothing," she said, referring to residents who had voiced their frustrations. "That means you really are fans of mine, and I appreciate that." The audacity of dismissing legitimate concerns as fandom is almost hard to believe. But that's become par for the course in Henyard's administration. Meanwhile, the Illinois Attorney General has ruled that Dolton violated the Open Meetings Act by holding gatherings in venues too small to accommodate residents. As a result, future meetings must be held in larger spaces, giving more people the chance to confront Henyard and demand answers.
Well, for the first time in many weeks, Dolton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village Hall.
Residents have also pointed out that Henyard's focus on extravagant spending seems to come at the expense of critical services. Many Dolton neighborhoods are plagued by potholes, broken streetlights, and inadequate garbage collection, leaving residents questioning where their tax dollars are going. Meanwhile, crime continues to be a major concern, with trustees claiming that the mayor's controversial leadership has left the police department in disarray. One resident summed it up during a recent meeting, saying, "We don't need a mayor who's throwing parties and putting her face on everything. We need someone who's actually going to take care of our streets and keep us safe." The question now is, where does this all lead? Federal investigators are reportedly digging into Dolton's financial records, and a full forensic audit is on the table. If the allegations against Henyard are proven true, she could face severe legal consequences, including charges of fraud and embezzlement. But for many Dolton residents, the damage has already been done. The trust between the community and its leadership has been shattered, and rebuilding it will take years, if not decades.
But you don't even have a sense to even look in our face. But you rather just steal our money and do what you want to do.
But the calls for an audit aren't just about catching Henyard, they're about uncovering the full scope of the damage. Some trustees worry there's more money unaccounted for than what's already been exposed. Dolton's financial situation is so dire that even basic office supplies, like paper and ink for village employees, have run out. The village clerk recently admitted that vendors are refusing to fulfill orders until they get paid, leaving the government struggling to function. One trustee described the situation as a ticking time bomb, warning that Dolton could face even bigger financial repercussions if state and federal grants are suspended due to the ongoing investigations. Fan reactions to this unfolding drama have been just as fiery as the events themselves. One commenter wrote, "I really don't know why that mayor hasn't been put in prison yet. What is the FBI doing dragging their feet? She needs to be in jail." Another added, "She should have to pay for those banners herself." These sentiments echo the frustration and disbelief felt by many Dolton residents and outsiders alike. How has someone with so many allegations against them managed to stay in power? Why hasn't there been more accountability? These are the questions that keep coming up, and so far they remain unanswered.
I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges.
So as the drama continues to unfold, one thing is clear, this story is far from over. Will Henyard face justice, or will she manage to cling to her position? And what does this entire saga say about the state of local government and accountability? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Henyard should step down, or does she deserve another chance? And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this wild story. You won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.